Welcome to Dance with the Universe, your space of inspiration, healing, and growth. I am Laura Blu Sandía, and I'm really grateful that you are here. So let's open our hearts and listen with our soul. Today I want to talk about something that really comes from my heart. Traveling. Because I am really a traveler at heart. I've always kind of been. I want to tell you a little bit about my travel history and why I feel home in the world. And I will share a lot of travel stories with you on this podcast in the future, but I kind of want to start with the end, which is kind of the beginning of all. So no matter how beautiful traveling is, coming home after a long trip has a lot of challenges because you've changed so much and the people around you, have they? So I want to talk about coming home. I also want to talk about the spiritual ego and why your parents are the real challenge. So I want to give you a little insight into my travel history. I always had this feeling called Fernweh. Actually, that's a German word. And it means that you are just longing for a distant place. And yeah, I started traveling when I was pretty young, but only little travels. And I did my first big travel when I was like 18, 19, and I did an internship in Ireland for 3 months. Later I studied in England for 2 years, and during that time I traveled a lot in Europe. And after finishing my studies, everyone kind of was starting a career. Everyone was like looking for a job and that. And I was in a totally different thing back then. I just wanted to go out there and explore. So I had a lot of friends at university from Asia, and I kind of used these connections to start my first big travel. So I went to China, Thailand, Indonesia. I did work and travel in Australia, and I visited Japan. So coming home after these 17 months, I thought everything is going to be different. But no, everything was kind of exactly the same as when I left. My room still looked the same, it was a little bit more dusty. The neighbors were gossiping around, my family was still doing the same things they always did. My friends were still talking about the same things and worrying about the same guys and university and job, and life kind of for me seemed to stop. It seemed to have stopped evolving at home. Because when you were back traveling, everything was an exciting adventure. Every day was different. Every day, different places, different people, different things to do, to eat, to see. And then I realized it was not home that changed. It was me. So after being home, I really tried to fit in and do the thing that everyone does. I found a job and tried to live a normal life. But it lasted kind of for 1 year. And I really tried to feel home, but I couldn't. And I asked myself, why? Then I realized that I am at home traveling. Because one of my best friends, hello Aya, said a really beautiful thing to me. She's from Russia and she's been away from home a long time. And I asked her once if she misses home. And she answered, no, because I am at home when I'm traveling. And I totally feel identified with that. Because what does home really mean to you? Is it a place where you feel comfortable? Or is it not more of a feeling? That feeling, of comfort, of safety, of familiarity. It kind of feels like it's a part of you. And you feel good with that. And I get the same feeling when I travel, When I start setting off to a new adventure, I get this warm feeling in my stomach. It's like a mix of excitement and anticipation. Anticipation. This is a really difficult word. Anticipation. There we go. And I feel really good with that, and I feel really safe and familiar with that. because I know that feeling, and I wouldn't want to feel anything else. And it has always been part of my nature to travel. So when I step into a plane, I do feel that I belong, and I do not want to be anywhere else. I don't need a house or a flat with my things to call that home. I call the streets, the sky, the people of this world my home. After trying to fit in with a normal job, and maybe if you listen to my first episode, you will see that that didn't work out, and you can listen to it if you want to know why. I set off kind of to my second big travel, and that was South America. That was a little bit different than the first time because I didn't go to find a place, but I went to find myself. And I will share many learnings of that time with you. But in this episode, I want to talk about that phase after the homecoming. And I want to share with you a little piece I wrote about that. Germany. Familiar yet strange faces. Yes, we do look more alike. But no, we feel very different. Stepping back into a culture ruled by looks and status. Phones seem so much more important here. Order, quality, abundance. Tight, clean, lost. Their minds busy in worlds far away from this one. Not seeing each other, not seeing themselves. Their hearts protected by thick walls. In fear of loneliness and pain. Drowning their longing in possessions. But I can see the light in each one of you. And I want to scream it out at you. We are all one. Don't be afraid to feel. And actually I wrote this piece at the airport when I came home, when I just landed. And I felt this bitterness of the familiar, you know? The people were different, of course. But I didn't only see slaves trapped in their own minds anymore. I saw the light in each one of them. And in the end, we are all just doing our best to live a happy life. So in the end, we are all just craving for love. And coming back, really means to rediscover your roots. Because if you reunite with your loved ones, especially your parents, that is going to be the biggest test of your development in your spirituality, in your mind, heart, soul, knowledge. It doesn't matter. Because as Buddha said, if you think you are enlightened, go spend 2 weeks with your parents. And that's so true. Oh my God. I mean, your parents, they gave you life. They raised you. And they shaped your path, your thinkings, your habits from a young age. Of course, they know all the little points, all the little triggers, and how to push them, how to push your buttons, and how to get you really, you know what I mean. And they have a huge influence on you if you like it or not. So there you can really prove that something inside of you has changed. And the first feeling I got was, I want to tell you all I've learned. I want to share all my knowledge with you, and I really want to make you understand what moved my heart, But there lies a big danger. Because it's not easy to communicate that. And you know who comes then? The spiritual ego. Dum, 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 dum. It sounds really dramatic, but you have it, I have it, we all have it. And what does it want to do? It wants to show everyone how deep, meaningful, and extraordinary all your experiences were, and how amazing and true all that new knowledge you have is. And in that way, you kind of want to show how different you are now from all these normal people, no? Because they didn't have those experiences you had and saw the places you saw and met the people you met. So you start to want to educate others. And that is really, really dangerous because you don't want to do that out of a selfless way. No, it's kind of, you want to feel superior. And you might not be conscious about that, but it's going to happen in a way or the other. It's a really big enemy, that spiritual ego. You cannot force knowledge, spiritual development, self-development. I don't know, you cannot force it on anyone. Because the best thing to do is, like Bob Marley said, to be the change. But how do you do that? Be the change. You might have heard that many times in many songs and phrases and quotes. It's a phrase that is really often used but rarely understood. It means that sometimes it's just better to be quiet. Because yes, you want to tell all the world and you want that all the people understand, but it's not gonna happen. It's better to practice silence in that way. Because if you silence yourself, when your mind just wants to defend and explain and educate and reason, then you can really practice to listen to the other and give all your attention to them. Just practice that sometimes. It's really hard for us to listen properly. Most of us don't know how to listen. Many times, myself, I don't know. Many times I just have this, you have this voice in your head already talking if someone else is talking. And blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you think about something totally different. But to really practice listening is a really beautiful meditation, actually. Because then you realize you don't have to try and change anyone's mind or anyone's opinions. You shouldn't tell them what you think would be better to do, think, or feel. Because one thing I learned on my path is that everyone is different and everyone is exactly where they need to be. And listen to that sentence for a second. If you were that person with their past, with their culture, with their consciousness, with their path, with their experiences, you would think, act, and feel exactly the same way. Relating to their past and the things that happened to them. Everyone is exactly where they need to be. You can really inspire others, give advice and share knowledge, but from a place of heart, not of ego. And the people that really want to hear, they will listen and they will approach you, they will ask you. You don't need to go out there and preach. The best thing you can do is focus on yourself. No? Work on being a better person every day. Challenge your thinkings, reflect on your actions, and really take all the experiences you had and all the learnings and apply. Because the real impact happens through actions, not through words. And that's the most wondrous way we can share, really. I love words, and I love speaking about my experiences and trying to help people in that way. But the best way you can help is really showing the change that these experiences and these things made inside of you. Because then the people would look at you like, oh wow, Laura is that different. Like she now doesn't do that anymore. She doesn't have that anymore. She acts in a really different way. She does this. Wow. And that's a real inspiration. Because if you just tell people what to do, no one will ever do that. It's just really human. They will only really change if it grows out of themselves, that motivation. Of course, knowledge, spiritual development, self-development, I don't know, you cannot force it on anyone. Because the best thing to do is, like Bob Marley said, to be the change. But how do you do that? Be the change. You might have heard that many times in many songs and phrases and quotes. It's a phrase that is really often used but rarely understood. It means that sometimes it's just better to be quiet. Because yes, you want to tell all the world and you want that all the people understand, but it's not gonna happen. It's better to practice silence in that way. Because if you silence yourself, when your mind just wants to defend and explain and educate and reason, then you can really practice to listen to the other and give all your attention to them. Just practice that sometimes. It's really hard for us to listen properly. Most of us don't know how to listen. Many times, myself, I don't know. Many times I just have this, you have this voice in your head already talking if someone else is talking, and blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you think about something totally different. But to really practice listening is a really beautiful meditation, actually. Because then you realize you don't have to try and change anyone's mind or anyone's opinions. You shouldn't tell them what you think would be better to do, think, or feel. Because one thing I learned on my path is that everyone is different and everyone is exactly where they need to be. So I want to share with you my tips, how you can deal with coming home. So when you've been away, it doesn't matter for 1 month, 1 week, 1 year, and when you come home, I spoke to many people and I know it happens to everyone. And I just want to share with you what I found the best to do when you feel a little bit of lost, because that's what happens. You come home, everything's exciting, happy, woo, friends, family, and then you fall into that hole like, oh my God, I miss traveling, I want to go back, what am I doing? How do I keep moving forward? And exactly that's point 1. Keep looking forward. Because when that daily life, that normality comes back, and you're going to miss all the adventures and the newness of every day, don't fall back into your old patterns. Keep those ideas and that experiences fresh in your mind. Look at the photos, read your diary, and remember how you felt back then. And try to incorporate that in your life now. Because it's possible to not look backwards, but look forward and apply. Because life happens right now. And all these people, experiences, they happened, and if you realize it or not, they had a huge impact on you, and they changed you. And that will impact your life every day. The second thing is take every challenge with a smile, because we all know that daily life has its challenges and a lot, sometimes more strong, sometimes more soft. Bureaucracy, the weather, politics, others' opinions, that kind of things will start to annoy you because it's just a different way of living. You might think you're not free anymore, but it's not true. Freedom is in your heart and your soul, not in the place. So people will judge you, people will annoy you, will make you angry. Parents will trigger your old patterns. But then just be aware when these things happen and take it as an opportunity to grow and to apply all your knowledge. And most importantly, smile. Because a smile makes everything easier, lighter, and more beautiful. And the third point is be the change. As I said before, don't try and change others. Don't force any knowledge or opinions on people. Just be present, live from your heart, and embody all you've learned on your travels. Choose to be silent when your ego comes and wants to defend itself or explain or educate. Listen to others and accept everyone's path, even if they don't want to listen, even if they don't understand. Be an example with your actions rather than a teacher with your words. And then the change will happen around you all by itself. Thank you guys for joining me on this dance with the universe. I would be super, super grateful if you could leave me a good rating. And if you want to know what I'm up to, follow me on Instagram and Facebook @Blusandia. Muchas gracias y mucho amor.